Welcome, team, to episode 16 of the Keep Going podcast, Athletes Shining a Light on Mental Health. I'm Luke, and I'm here with my co-host, Pat O'Malley in Chi-Town. What's up, buddy?
Everything's good, man. My Wi-Fi is giving me it's gonna be a laptop toss here in a little bit if we can't figure it out. How about you?
Little Bob Knight chair on the floor action.
It's okay. My mental health is great. I'm in a moment of weakness.
Hey, control the controllables, Pat. Control the controllables.
We bounced out of the Zoom. We're back in. I'm feeling fresh though. Having a great Sunday. Luke, how's the weekend been?
That's right. It's been good, man. Opened up today with a little hike this morning. So Laurel Falls out in the Smokies. Like I was talking about a little bit earlier with you two, live in one of the best parts of the country for hikes, and I'm really trying to get more into it. I feel like I haven't taken advantage enough of that as in my time in Knoxville, Tennessee. So excited to do that.
Oh man, we touched on in the prelude, man. So good for a couple different boxes, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Get out there with some good people and see the world. I think that direct sunlight, doing that kind of stuff opens up some doors. I love that, man. Good for you.
Yeah, it was my roommate from Nolens, Nick McClendon. So it's good. He moved back up to Knoxville last month. He's been grinding on an online class. So he said, today's the day. We took a midterm last night. We can shave off some time and get a hike in today. So it was really good to be with him and be outside.
Bro, I love that, man. There's something to be said about hanging out with like-minded people, right? I think that's fantastic, dude. I even got the Nashville, Tennessee shirt going today. Support the boy. Sir. Awesome, man.
Music hanging City.
Out. Strength in numbers, man.
I love it. Yes. Man, let's remind these people. We're not psychiatrists. We're not psychologists. Okay. We're just a couple ex-athletes trying to help current athletes, student athletes, and everybody else out in their mental. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, Jesus. I know. And I got to shout out Brother Bill and his network from last week. How electric was that episode?
Dude, it's always good to have a guest on where people dress up for them at Halloween time. Okay. That's electric.
Yeah, man. Talk about making his mark, being a public figure, not only in his community, but for a whole NFL franchise. I couldn't speak more highly of Anthony and everything he's doing. And shout out his network, over 2,000 followers now at the KG podcast on Insta. We love you guys and girls. Appreciate the support. And we're trying to end that stigma one step at a time.
Yeah, 100%, man. That's what we're all about. And on that front, we're kind of setting up a little bit more of a permanent place on the interwebs. We've got a new website, guys. So it's keepgoingpodcast.blog. Worked on that a little bit over spring break this week. I think it may be one of the reasons that I was a little bit on edge this week. We'll talk about that here in a second. But, we got it done. We powered through, and now I think it looks pretty good.
No, I agree. And Luke, when you sent it over, one, thanks for all the hard work on that. And two, you were grinding, man. The website is great. Yeah. It's great to kind of flood some listeners as we go on. Fantastic stuff, Luke. And I got to shout out Luke one more time on the digital side. He has been my rock in this. Couldn't do it without you.
Dude, I couldn't do socials without you, man. Instagram just confuses my brain. So knowing that you're on there taking care of that stuff, it's a team effort. So it's nice.
No doubt. And that's how you run into people like Shanon, LeGath, who's coming on here in a little bit. Obviously, Shanon was a D3 athlete, D3 for love of the sport.
Yeah, I love the game, baby.
But she reached out, very early on in this. We were super pumped to have her. But before we go into that, not to jump the gun, Luke, what'd you do this week for your mental health?
Dude, I did, like you said, not to jump the gun. We'll talk about this a little bit after the interview today for the charity shout out, but I did a hot girl walk. Okay. Ooh. You got to get one in. And I got a couple in. I'm going to count the hike today as one as well. So we got a couple hot girl walks in this week just for the mentality,
That, man. Hey, shout out the hot girl walk. I'm a big believer in my guy, Nick Clank. He's coming on in a couple weeks, former D3, again, for love of the sport. But just that gratitude walk can be huge,
Massive,
dude. And you throw a hike in the mix with some views. Come on, man. Checking off a lot of boxes.
Dude, I had to do that one this week. I was telling, we like to keep things all positive on here. We try and keep the vibes up. But this week, I was telling Pat, he could tell this week I was just a little on edge the whole time. So getting outside this morning, doing a couple of walks throughout the week, it really just kept me level. So that was nice.
No, I agree. And you got with a lot of the things that we touch on every week. You got with your people, you got out doing something that you enjoy, and you let yourself have some time off because it's hard when you're in the go, 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 but being able to slow down and really move forward in a couple different areas. Proud of you, bro, as always. And keep going.
Yeah, yes, sir. Appreciate you. What'd you get into this week, buddy?
Hey, man, on my end, I've been really messing around with like not only my routine, but really what I'm consuming. And let me break that down. So, not only food and drink wise, but what I'm watching, what I'm listening to, where I'm putting my energy and effort, where I'm spending my time, and really trying to not put a perfect routine together because things change every day, but doing things that fill my cup and shout out the great people in my life and everything going on. But really comparing and contrasting, seeing how I feel when I do certain things, and trying to consume a lot of positive. That's for sure.
And you got to keep tweaking it, right?
I
Even when you find a great routine, that routine can get old. So always being ready to adjust, just like a game plan in any sport, right? We know what's working, but our mind's going to play against us sometimes, right? So we got to keep it on the move and keep it active, and really, kind of second guess what's coming up next.
Luke, I love that, man. It's good to have routines. It's good to see what you like and don't like, but keeping it fresh and being a sponge. We don't know everything. So communicating with people, going online, listening to podcasts like this one, music, whatever it may be. Everyone's got their things, but taking the good and leaving the rest, I like to call it. That's for sure.
100%. A little YouTube, John Mayer, Gravity Live. I mean, come on.
Oh, shout out David Kamisik. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Without further ado, I want to be conscious of Shannon's time. Shannon, come on, girl. What's up?
Hey guys, how's it going? Happy Sunday.
Shannon, what's going on? You doing good?
What's going on with
I'm
you?
doing well. Yeah, I'm doing well. It's been a really good weekend so far. I feel like they always go by way too quick. I can't believe tomorrow's already Monday, but back to the grind.
No
Yeah,
doubt.
100%.
Well, from the start, Shannon, I haven't seen you in a couple years in person or on Zoom. You look happy. You look like you're having a great time. How's Scottsdale treating you?
Yeah, Arizona's good. It definitely has its hiccups in the sense of, I am away from most of my immediate family. But out here, I will say the community is huge. So I'm blessed to have that. It's just, I feel like the weather out here is perfect. So I can't complain. But sometimes the homesickness is real. But
I get it.
Yeah.
Well, we're blessed to have you on the pod today. I can't wait for our listeners to hear your story. And like we say every week, our guests keep setting the bar high. So I know you'll answer the bell there. Luke, what's up? You want to introduce yourself to her?
Scottsdale, man, that seems like the golfer's paradise. That's what I've been hearing. All my buddies that golf, they went out there actually this week for spring break, so they were having a
oh
great
wow.
time. That's where they do the GM, I think. So or waste management, the WM waste management.
Yep.
It's a huge tournament. It's all about zero waste to the environment. It's a really cool thing that the PGA Tour does. So that's awesome. That's a sick area to be in.
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt. No doubt. Well, Shannon, to stay on segue here, tell me one thing you did this week for your mental health.
Yeah, so it's been a couple of little things. I think this past week I've just gotten a lot of like little tasks done that I've been meaning to get done that I've like put off. It's always good to check those off the checklist. And also one thing I try to do every day is I'll put my phone on do not disturb. I'll literally put it in a different room. So I can just put my focus on something else and I'm not so consumed in social media and things like that.
I love that. I want to stay there if you don't mind, Luke.
Yeah, no, that's huge because that's something that I'm a big about as well. At 8:30, I turn all mine off. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
No doubt. And that's why I was kind of pressing on Luke there, because Luke is the guy that if it's after 8:30 his time, you're not hearing from him, which
Yeah,
I
dude.
love. I'm trying to do that. I have some app limits set. Do you do anything more than just the do not disturb? Do you have app limits or any of that?
Yeah, I'll sometimes do app limits, or sometimes honestly, I will just go ahead and delete the app altogether. I won't necessarily delete my account, but I'll just delete it just to kind of take a clean break. Like, I just feel like social media nowadays can be such a negative thing. And I feel like what we're consuming in our mind can play a part into our everyday life. And so you just got to kind of be careful of that.
God,
100%.
Luke, we're 30 seconds in. She's already preaching it.
Bro, just dropping bombs right off the top. Coming from the top rope, WWE ladder style. That's amazing. But dude, I'll say this: it is a big commitment. Okay, we live in a time, and I've got little brother syndrome. Okay, I'm the youngest of three. For me personally, it's like me, right? So if I feel like I'm not responding right away to something, it's super hard, like Pat said, that you don't hear from me after 8:30. That's not an easy thing for me. Because to me, I'm like, what's going on? What's happening? How can I touch base with people? That's what one of my friends said the other day. They said, you're the biggest texter in the world. I was like, yeah, I just like talking to people. I don't know. So
Yeah.
it's a difficult thing to do, and I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I'll say this about you, and then we'll move into Shanon here. You're a people. I'm not going to say a people pleaser. That's not the right word.
It's close though.
You influence people, and you love shining that positive light. That's why we flow so well, and that's why Shannon's going to, obviously we're already flowing very well, going to mix very well with us. But Shanon, back on you. So awesome stuff with your mental health stuff. I know our listeners will get a lot out of that. All right, softball player. You're playing a pretty high level in high school, playing a high level in college over at the U, Rockford University. Got to shout them out.
Rockford.
Started sports early on. Give me a little, I don't know, dive into early years, Shanon, for me.
Yeah. So growing up, I mean, I was playing softball as little as I could. I mean, at 5 years old, I was playing t-ball. My dad coached me all the way up until I started playing high school. Sports were just kind of in my family's bloodline. Like I knew, I was going to be playing something. So I actually played a little bit of basketball growing up, just recreationally, and then a little bit in high school. But softball was really kind of just like my first love and something that I stuck with. So yeah, me and my dad really bonded over that. And like I said, he coached me until I got to the high school level. And then did that. And then got recruited by RU.
That's it. And it's always cool, Luke, when you ask someone for pictures for Instagram and they have like multiple like this.
Yeah.
She played a lot in her 4 years. I think you played, I want to say all 4 years, correct?
Yeah, we'll get into that. But mostly all 4 years. Yeah.
That's a lot of playing time early on is what I'm implying.
Yeah.
100%. D3 baller, baby. Come on now.
Yeah.
Run that back by me, Pat. What you got?
Oh, I just said Luke was a D3 guy as well. So we're a big D3 podcast.
Yeah, 100%.
I
was
awesome.
Left bench.
Love it.
So it was pretty sick. Yeah.
Hey, still a part of it. Still a part of it.
Don't worry. So Shanon, you were a great high school player. Obviously get a chance to play in college, play in a school like Rockford, get a great education. Awesome. Walk me through what you're doing now. So you get done with Rockford, 4 years, go on. Tell me about your field, what you're doing now in your community.
Yeah. So I am strictly in the mental health field for my career, which I'm pretty blessed to be in. I pretty much got it as soon as after I graduated college. But yeah, so my official title is Utilization Review Coordinator. A lot of people don't really know what that is. So I'm more on the clinical side. I am like right there with the, physicians and the treatment team and how we're going about treating the kids. So it's a lot of background work. Like I said, it's more clinical, but I'm learning something new every single day, like in what I do. And I love working with kids, and that's what I'm doing. So I couldn't ask for anything more.
No, it's fantastic. And you wonder why Luke is smiling already at me, why we have someone like Shanon on, not only from an athlete perspective, but what you now do in the trenches every day. So how long now, this is crazy thing about how long have you been in that field now?
Yeah. So, I mean, graduated from RU in 2019. I pretty much started, I would say early 2022 in the field. So yeah.
Luke, go ahead. You got some on your mind.
Oh, dude, I love the pediatrics, man. Anytime you got the kids going around, like that is such a necessity, right? To have good people that care about the kids so that the kids can tell that you care about them. It's so important for the social emotional development of the children. And that's awesome. I love that. I didn't know what you did until today. We like to keep this fresh and we like to keep it conversational. Yeah. So it's always interesting to find out what people do. And that's right on the money for me.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. It's definitely something special for sure.
Yeah. No, I agree. And let's stay there. So obviously our goal of this podcast, we're shining the light. We're trying to end the stigma on mental health, especially with everything that went on in COVID. Tell me some things that are going on in your everyday life. Like, what are you seeing out there, even clinically in the field right now? And just walk me through what your day-to-day looks like.
Yeah, I mean, obviously since COVID, there's been a lot of, more admissions just because of COVID, and people are still kind of recovering from the pandemic. But also what you see a lot, like with kiddos, being admitted, it all starts from their obviously early age and how their upbringing is, right? Like that affects so much. So it's just been kind of hard to see in some ways, but also like we are making a difference every day. So even though there's more admissions, we're just impacting more kids every single day. So
No doubt, no doubt. And what are you seeing from the parents? I talk to Luke about this all the time. A lot of time it starts at the top, mom and dad, guardian, whoever it may be. Are they feeling this just as hard family wise?
they are. I mean, some families, yes, like for sure, and they want their kid home like ASAP, like as soon as they can. But then some parents are like, no, like I'm not ready to have them home. Then we have to find them alternative placement. And that's just like really hard to see, especially, when the kid doesn't want it. Um, so it can be tough on both ends. But either way, it always works out and it's always a blessing.
Yeah.
No doubt. Luke, go ahead.
Anytime you've got to a point where, you have to have such severe help, it's good to have good people in your corner. And I know Shanon and your team's doing the right thing for the kiddos. So that's awesome, man. I'm glad you're able to impact it and they got the right people working for them down there. It's a touchy situation, but with good people in your corner, you can overcome anything.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And I think we'll stay there with tough situations going on, not only with your work, but also personal life stuff, things that go around. Life happens, right? Things are always going on. For our listeners, we have a lot of listeners that are going through these struggles. Any advice for them with seeing what you go through every single day and what you've gone through in your own personal life? What would you say, listeners wise, to help them out?
Yeah, I think honestly, lean on your community. I mean, having community is huge, especially when you're going through something hard. Even when you feel like you're alone, you have to lean on those people because they're going to bring you back up. I mean, for me personally, my life changed substantially ever since I moved to Arizona in so many ways. So if anyone needs to talk about change or anything like that, like I'm here, like all the triumphs, like I've been through so much loss, change in every which way. But I think it's all about, just keep going in that. Like life is going to bring you down. You never know what day is going to bring. So I think that's just the beauty of it too. You just never know. So I think just having, a big community there and people you can lean on to lift you up is huge.
Shanon, it's crazy too, because I've obviously known you now for, oh my goodness, we're getting old. I'm just going to say that.
I know. It's sad.
I felt like double digits was about to come up there. Not that much, but
no, I'm not.
It was close.
I've known Shanon for a long time. Obviously, got to be a student athlete, went to Rockford together, all that good stuff. You're strong now. Like, it's not saying that you weren't always, but you're strong. There's something about you on the call today that it's lifting me up. So I appreciate you. But it hasn't always been this way. You've had your ups, you've had your downs throughout. We say it every episode. Often people look at people where they're currently at, but you don't see what they went through to get there. Tell me you keep going.
Yeah, that's hard because like I said, there's been so many things, but I think, my keep going moment has just been everything that's happened since my move, basically, that, keeps making me into the woman I'm trying to become and, still working. I think, obviously life is so unpredictable and I never would have guessed what my past 3 years have looked like, but unfortunately that's what it is. But I'm just so blessed, like I said, to have the people that I do out here. If I didn't, life would look really different. So I think it's just been all the changes in of itself and also finding myself in those tough moments.
You feel like those changes stronger?
Oh, absolutely. I think even from a year ago, I'm so different than when I was even a year ago. Yeah.
It's amazing. Luke, go ahead.
So tell me this, with the field you're working in, mentally it's a taxing field, right? And I'm just wondering if, anything in your life led you to feel inspired to work in this field. So I know for a lot of teachers, it's that way. I know for a lot of people in medical fields, it's that way. What about you? Did you feel inspired to work in this field that you're working in?
Yeah, absolutely. I think just, even in high school, just a lot of like family stuff, just kind of growing up and seeing the toll that mental health, takes on people and just getting to see a lot of that. And then also just all the changes like in my life and just realizing like, wow, like mental health just isn't talked about enough, and like you guys say, like, and the stigma. And I'm like, if I can be any help in that, like, I want to do it, so that was like kind of my driving force to get in the field. And like, I still want to do more.
Yeah. And we're gonna touch on that too with our social this week, Pat, about ending the stigma and how we can be more emotionally aware of how we feel and about how we project our emotions on onto other people and be really candid about how we express ourselves. So do you find, working with the kids that it's super tough for them to kind of display their emotions or to either mask them up or projections, like kind of like that? What do you see with the kids nowadays?
Yeah, I think all of that. I think, when they are trying to mask it, I think it comes out in different ways, right? Like aggression, they'll be on the unit just like punching walls, breaking hands, yelling at staff, yelling at whoever they can. I think that's them trying to regulate and trying to get their emotions out, but they don't know how because growing up, they didn't have that healthy boundary of like, hey, like you can feel this way and you can let people know that.
Yeah. Yeah. And, what's a good resource for somebody that's, feels like they're kind of spiraling or feels like they really need, either an intervention almost, or they need just little tricks and tips to help themselves throughout the week? What's some good tips that you give people usually?
Yeah, honestly, like I'm so big on like coping skills. Obviously, you got to know your triggers first, to identify some coping skills. But I mean, even something as simple as like deep breathing, taking a walk, changing, like if you're in a negative mindset and you're just sitting there not changing anything about your day, let's change that. Go for a 5-minute walk, go get some sunshine, call a family member, call a friend. There's always, resources online, and there's always self-help centers not far, in the community either. So it's really easy to get resources.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. No, I love that. And I think there's a lot of strength in vulnerability. I think feeling that, understanding it's a trigger, you're reactional, it's negative, and then making an adjustment. It's a lot easier said than done, but we've got to start there. And that's fantastic stuff. Awesome.
Well, that's where I got to try and take my own advice, right? Like talking about being on edge all week. It, I don't like loud noises. I think that's what really got me this week. I could literally point to the time on Monday or Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday, but Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, where like super loud car goes by, or like you're in a restaurant, somebody's like yelling or something, and I just kind of get like this. I get those high shoulders, and I like tense up, and it's just like breathe. I've been reading the Breathe Focus Excel book. I didn't go
That's a
back to
good
my
one.
mechanisms. It could have changed my whole day, and I kind of let it change that whole day. When in fact, it could have been a 5-minute thing and done and over with.
For sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
absolutely.
Not letting the domino effect, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I'm with you. Well, that's awesome stuff. And Shanon, I want to be conscious of your time. Obviously, we laughed in the prelude that we're all in different time zones, which I find hilarious. But what I'm going to ask is this: you've gone through a lot of change, a lot of stuff. Like I mentioned earlier, personal life, work life, things like that. If you had to give any advice to your younger self, what would you say to younger Shanon?
Yeah. I would say, just kind of in terms of even like softball aspect too, just anything in life. I think, play the game for yourself. Do anything in life for yourself. Don't do it for anyone else because in the end, you're not going to be happy. Kind of in terms of like the end of my softball career. I won't get into it too much, here just because of time wise and stuff like that. But I actually didn't end up finishing my senior year, for multiple reasons. So I think in turn, like it was just a lot of little things that added up. In my 4 years there, we went through 3 different coaching changes. We had recruits coming in and out left and right, which they were great assets to the team. But in that, it was hard to build a solid foundation and community within a team because it just wasn't the same players. It was always changing, things like that. And then when I got to my senior year, I was the only senior on the team. So kind of going through that transition alone, knowing, that my identity as a softball player was going to end and didn't have anyone to kind of lean on with me, it was just really tough. So I think, if I could tell my 5-year-old self, play the game for yourself and also in that, know when it's time to walk away.
I got to stay there because we've had this come up on other episodes. Pat Saladin comes to mind right away.
Yeah.
U.S. swimmer. I don't know if you listened to that episode at all, Shanon, but top in her area, one of the best in the country. And she decided to step away. And we decided from that day forward, keep going had a different meaning. And I did not know that going into this, that you didn't in your year because I wouldn't have been there.
Right.
Did you feel like looking back, that was the right decision?
Honestly, yes, because for the first time in my life, I had to look at the game of softball as logically as I could, and I'm like, "Okay, if I don't finish these last 5 games, is that gonna impact the next 3 years of my life? Or is walking away now for my mental health and other reasons gonna impact the next 3 years?" So I think it was just I just had to look at it like that, and I think it's also important to remember no matter in a game, in a sport, in life, it's still okay to be sad and grieve a situation, even if it was the right decision. You
Mhm.
know, I look back on that day and I was devastated to walk away. I was sad for weeks. But I just knew it's what I had to do.
Yeah, and any time of transition like that, in any big moment, it's hard to know if it was correct right in the moment, but you got to take the factors of the situation in hand and make the decision and stick to it. One of the worst things can be being wishy-washy on stuff and going back and forth. But yeah, as a senior, being one of the leaders on the team and being the only leader on the team, you have no one yourself where you can lean on, right? And especially with a lot of different coaching changes, so that can weigh on you mentally a ton. Um, I think for some of our younger listeners, a lot of the pressure doesn't necessarily come from the team itself or the coach itself. It could come from parents as well, and that's a tough conversation to have. Telling your parents that, hey, maybe this sport isn't for me, or maybe it's not exactly what I want to do in college, but they feel pressured to go that way. So just know, anybody out there listening, that you can have that conversation if you come at it from a candid place and a place of meaning. Then it can be done, and you can have some real truth found in that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's good.
I think that's unbelievable feedback, Shannon. And Luke love the piggyback off of that with
Yeah.
the parents and your support group and how tough this is. And Shannon touched on it. Softball has been your identity for 20 years, right? And realizing it was time to separate for you. God, that's powerful. And for our listeners, please run that back. That was fantastic stuff. Shannon, anything else on that you want to share?
Yeah, I think it's just the biggest thing is like do what's best for you and your mental health, even if it feels like the wrong decision at the time or to be sad. It's still okay to grieve what could be quote unquote the wrong decision or for it to eat at you, but also like you just have to ultimately do what's best for you.
Yeah. And I think you're in an awesome position now with your work where you can help kids realize what they need to do to make a positive impact on their own lives and empower them to keep going in the right direction. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
Shannon, I know a lot of our listeners are going to be super impacted by this. I'm speechless, no lie. Like that was amazing. Like I'm glad that you went into that. So our listeners want to talk to you, get in touch with you, promote yourself, how they can find you, how they can touch base with you.
Yeah, so my main source of social media right now is just Instagram. So it's just at Shanon LeGath.
Perfect. And anything outside, maybe in your personal life, anything you got cooking up that you're doing on your end that's mental health wise, or anything that you're doing outside of what we touched on, go ahead and promote yourself.
Yeah, I'm just really trying to figure out ways I can impact more people, whether it's kids, adults, in the mental health era. I'm always trying to strive myself to be better in my work. I'm actually working to go ahead and get my master's in counseling here pretty soon. So looking to
Nice.
strive towards that and just always like I'm just trying to better myself as a better human so I can be better for everyone else around me.
It's awesome. There's strength in numbers. There's strength in numbers, and I'm glad you're taking those steps. There's not many people better prepared for it than you, so that'll be awesome.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on, and I love what y'all are doing with this. I think it's huge, and you guys are already impacting a lot of people.
Well, Shannon, if we can keep bringing on people like you, a true servant leader, it's inspiring. So thank you so much for coming on. Oh my goodness. And I'm still speechless over here, but
Yeah.
Keep going. All I gotta say is keep going. Thank you for all you do, and bless you as well.
Yeah. Thanks, Shannon.
Yeah,
We
thank you guys
appreciate
so
you.
much.
Appreciate you.
Thanks for
Have
your
a good.
input.
Okay. Peace.
All right. Bye, guys.
Peace.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
We went there. We went there.
Yeah, we did. You run that back, baby. Run it
Run
back.
that
It
First
just doesn't
impression
sound the
of
same coming from me. It just
How
doesn't
about-
sound the same.
First impression of Shannon, my man.
Oh my gosh. Well, I didn't know she worked in the mental health. You may have told me that, but I don't think I remember that. And it's always like a pleasant surprise to figure out what the people coming on do. And anybody working in the mental health field, God bless them, because it's tough road out there, right? It's not an easy job. It's a mentally taxing job. They got to take care of their own mental health while helping other people figure out how they're taking care of theirs. And man, it's such an impactful field.
Fantastic stuff. It was just in the trenches, right? Just, making an impact and using her own experiences and her own ups, downs, highs, lows, in between to impact others. I loved it, man. Awesome,
right.
Awesome stuff. Well, Luke, it's ad read time, baby.
Oh, yeah, it is, baby.
Come on.
CNC, BNC, we appreciate you sponsoring the podcast. Homegrown design, guys. Look, I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say this. I know you have big events coming up. I know you want to change the vibe in your living room, in your kitchen, maybe even on your nightstand, by your bed. Whenever you shut the electronics off, go to read a little bit. I know you want a little smile on your face then. There's people that can help you out. You don't have to suffer in silence. Homegrown Design is going to get you some personalized coasters. Okay. You know what? Go ahead and get a personalized wedding wall just for your bedroom. Okay, what is going to be more fire than that? Get some hangers on there. Get a clothes rack that's personalized. I'm going to get Wheat's Treats right there and hang all my nice coats up on it, hang all the nice pants up on it. Boom. We're done, man. We appreciate Homegrown Design for sponsoring the pod, and just, keep going.
Couldn't agree more. Homegrown Design, brand new Etsy, brand new Insta. We'll get that in the show notes. Couldn't be happy to be partnered with CNC and BNC with all things keep going. So, Luke, another fire ad read. CNC and BNC, we're better knowing you guys. Thanks for all you do.
We appreciate them.
No doubt. Well, let's, without further ado, go into our social media shout out of the week. This one was awesome. I don't know if you watched the game live, Luke. Did you watch any of that yesterday?
No, I didn't catch that one live. I forget what game I had on at that time, but I missed it live. But Devontae Davis, man, getting emotional, right? He was, I know what I was doing. Sorry. I know what I was doing. I was coming back from Charleston yesterday. But anyway, Devontae Davis coming in, just full candidness on display, right? And tears after the game. Super proud, positive tears, right? They had struggled early on in the year as a team, but Devontae was talking about in his post game that the team found a way to win together and to come together and figure out their issues and fix them. And that was amazing.
No, I agree. And watching that game from start to finish, Arkansas obviously knocks off Kansas yesterday, and Devontae Davis basically is just vulnerable in front of millions of people, letting them know how hard he's worked and how blessed he was to be with this group of guys. And they never quit. They were the mantra of keep going. And it went way beyond basketball to show that vulnerability. And it's okay to let it go, boys and girls out there. I thought that was so powerful. It's a way to impact millions of people. And Devontae Davis, man, we love you. You just gained a couple fans out here in Knox in Chicago, and awesome stuff.
That's right.
Luke, little different segue this week for the Ask Luke Weed. So we did not have any questions that came in. So I want to ask you a question, if that's okay.
Go ahead, buddy.
So, Luke, I had to ask you, being in the educational field right now, working with kids every single day, what is your favorite part of being a teacher and impacting the youth? I got to ask.
Oh, man. I think, and this is not to say that I give the best life advice, but I think it's just a understanding of how much the kids look up to people in a position of power. I say that in air quotes because it sounds real heavy, but it's really not, either a teacher or a coach or something. It's such a humbling experience for them to come up to me and ask me what they think they should do about a college decision, what they think they should do about their girlfriend or their boyfriend. And man, it puts me in a vulnerable place where I got to tell them I don't know all the time. And it lets me show them that it's okay not to have all the answers. I think that's actually my favorite part of the job, is letting the kids know that you're not always going to have all the answers. You just got to do the best you can.
Yeah, man, what a fantastic answer. I think just realizing that you're always going to be there for them, and they're going to be there when they're figuring this stuff out. And man, that's awesome stuff. Luke, appreciate you. And if you're just jumping in now to the recording, either tomorrow or whatever this week. We're going to stop question for Luke week. We're going to go more of a mental health question every week. So Luke, as always, man, thanks for taking on the fly.
Yeah, of course, dude.
Awesome. Well, you want to shout out the charity of the week?
Let's do it, dude.
Hot Girl Walk.
Hot Girl Walk. I got mine in this week. I need to make sure I record it so I can get it done. But this is the Hot Girl Walk Challenge by Well and Good. Pat, do you know which charity this is specifically going to?
If I butcher this, I apologize. It's Strava.
Yes, Strava. In honor of Women's History Month. It says right here. Okay. So it's going through till the end of March. So you got a couple weeks to get in on the Hot Girl Walk, gratitude walk, as Pat calls it. I got to go Hot Girl Walk every time I'm doing it. I'm calling it that now.
Love a good Hot Girl Walk. Love it.
Hot Girl Walk. Yeah, I told Spencer Ann that was our charity of the week, and that's exactly what she said. She said, "Love a Hot Girl Walk." So
yes, get it going.
So Well and Good, guys. We'll link that in the show notes and check it out, dude. Great cause to donate to, and like Pat said, whenever you get outside, you're touching on the physical, you're touching on the mental, you're touching on the spiritual, trifle right there.
Luke, love that. And the Hot Girl Walk is in. Nothing better than a good gratitude walk. And what a fantastic cause. Shout out Strava. Amazing, amazing stuff. Luke, anything else before we wrap up the pod this afternoon?
Guys, I would love, me and Pat both would love to hear from you guys. We want more questions. Now, I know we're going to transition into the mental health questions, but we can always take them on the fly too and just interject them into the show whenever we need to. On that new website, keepgoingpodcast.blog, there's a contact info at the bottom. Pat made sure it worked for me. So I promise we will get your message if you go there. So I want to ask the guys guys and girls out there to go to the website and, either drop some love in there or just, hit us up with any suggestions you got.
I couldn't agree more. And this could be anonymous or not.
Yeah.
I just want to make it clear that we're 16 episodes into this and we want to impact as many lives as possible. And we've had some amazing people reach out in our DMs, and feel free to use the website or anything else. We're here. You guys aren't alone in this. And for two guys who's trying to end the stigma, we're blessed to have our listeners and our guests. And if you guys need anything, reach out to us. We'll do everything we can to help. That's for sure.
100%, man. Well, Pat, you got anything else for me, man?
I love you, bro. Keep going.
Love you. Keep going.